Spoilers.
Yo, what is good? Welcome to the Walking Dead podcast, Talking Decay. I am Solgr Only.
With the one and only Fusha as well. And we are here to discuss the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead.
This is season 7, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be getting interesting.
I think so too, and I actually really like how they ended it. Rise up. Not only rise up, but they're all finally getting on the same page. Because they were all scattered as all hell. Like, they were all going, I'm really proud of Michonne. She knew where I was at. She knew what she needed to do. And she's like, no, I have to go back to Rick, and we have to do this together.
Yeah, she didn't go off on some solo suicide mission like Carl was trying to do. He didn't care if he died. And what, Rosita
Was trying
she didn't care if she died either.
Michonne definitely showed that she wanted to, but knew it wasn't going to be that easy.
Michonne, Robert Kirkman actually made a good point. This kind of goes with what he said in Talking Dead following the show last night. He was saying how Michonne has always been at that same wavelength, that same mindset since she's been introduced. So, I mean, she had, and this is what I mean by it, like, she hasn't lost her mind and then went on some crazy solo mission, you know? She's always been level-headed and smart and calculated and collect. So she saw that she was in over her head, and like you said, she went back to Rick, which...
And you could tell it was really hard on her, and she wanted to just fight, and she knew that wasn't going to be the kind of life that they were going to live, and she is just so incredible, because like you said, she has managed to stay level-headed. I mean, she lost Andrea very soon after meeting her, and there was some kind of maybe romance with that, you know, but nothing ever came of it. But still, she's been the most level-headed, because whereas Carol and Morgan, they're like, I don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want to fight if we don't have to.
Yeah, because obviously Morgan, you know, he's gone. Morgan has had almost as many kind of snaps as Rick, because, you know, Rick has been so far up and down. Morgan has been, remember the Clear episode, you know, like Morgan's been out of his damn mind a couple times. I mean, when we met Morgan...
He had a son,
right, but remember his wife was one of the walkers outside of the house, remember, and he couldn't put her down.
The door.
He couldn't, remember, and he couldn't put her down. Remember, he was up on the roof looking, he was gonna hit her with a sniper rifle, but he couldn't do it. And then remember, we found out that it was actually his wife that got his son eventually. We don't see it happen, but it's referred to.
Yeah, and I love Maggie. I love her so much. Don't let it go to your head.
At the beginning of the episode.
It looks like it's bothering you.
That guy. Wait till that guy finally dies. He's gonna die a gruesome death. You know he is.
I like how they killed Spencer.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Spencer's. Yeah, we lost Spencer.
I was not expecting it, but I love how Negan was like.
No, I knew Negan was gonna kill him. I knew it was coming.
But still, I love how Negan was like, "Oh, well, you ain't got no guts. You want me to do your dirty work? You ain't gonna be no man of mine."
Yeah.
It just fucking guts him.
Yeah, I like how he's like, oh shit, I've never been so embarrassed in my life. I've never been so wrong before in my life. Your guts are right there.
Oh, wow, Negan. You know one interesting thing? Even though Rick wasn't there at Alexandria when Negan and Carl showed up, by the time Negan and his crew left, there was no speak towards Rick about Negan knowing about Judith.
Yeah, nothing was said, huh?
Yeah, nothing was said at
Well,
all.
I mean, shit had kind of hit the fan, and they couldn't really.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, because after the shit hit the fan, Negan pretty much just left.
He was pissed. He's like,
Speaking of
fuck
which,
this.
yeah, they grabbed Eugene. We have to mention that. They grabbed
Yeah.
Eugene and left. So Eugene, I'm so glad Daryl finally got out. Daryl finally got away.
But now they got
But
Eugene.
now they got Eugene, yes.
I just don't think they would try to beat Eugene down because he's already broken. He's an easy mold. He'll do what he's told.
Oh, he's easily manipulated, and I'm sure Negan sees that.
Oh yeah, and he knows he's not the strongest, but he knows he's not the absolute weakest, and he's made his improvements. And I think Negan's gonna use him as defense to build more bullets. To wait a minute, this guy's smart, so if we run out of ammo, he can.
That's the thing, though. The Saviors, obviously, they're never gonna run it. Look how much shit. Look how many different communities they have working for them to get shit.
Yeah,
The Saviors are that powerful. It's like, here, give us half your shit that you guys loot, or we'll just kill you. They're that.
It's not a very good bargain.
No, but the thing is like, I'm sure Negan's looking at it as like, obviously the Saviors are just greedy motherfuckers. Like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're greedy ass people because it's like they. I'm trying to think of how I'm like. I mean, obviously they have more shit than they need. At times like.
Well,
like,
they're assholes.
Like when Daryl killed Fat Joey,
mm-hmm.
and remember Joey's like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get by," and Daryl even said, "He's like, yeah, right. You guys are trying to get everything."
Yeah.
So Negan's looking at it as like it's just a way just to have even more bullets, like it's a way to literally, like people say, print money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, printing bullets,
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's.
And I mean, the Saviors are just savage because I mean they took all the beds, didn't even need them.
Just to burn them, yeah,
Just
exactly. That's my point. Yeah,
they're savage.
Yeah.
They don't give two damns, and I was so relieved to see the reunion at the end where Rick and Daryl were reunited, Carl was reunited, and they were safe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so incredible, and Jesus was there, and it was just like amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see in the premiere because they kind of left it off that.
They're gonna meet King Ezekiel soon.
Yeah, because I'm glad Jesus knows about Ezekiel and stuff. You know what I mean? So now we're gonna be seeing Alexandria, the Hilltop, and the Kingdom working together
against Negan.
Yeah. What is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend, or something like that. You know that saying goes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. I mean, they all had good terms. Anyways,
Yeah.
The Kingdom and the Hilltop community are good communities that our group would get along with anyways. Granted, the leader of the Hilltop, I can't remember that dumbass's name right now, but that guy is a putz.
He is a putz. I know, he tries to sell him out and actually only sells out his liquor. I love the look on Jesus' face when he's like, ha, you just said a closet.
Well, at first, Jesus is like, shaking his head like, you bastard. And he knows they're not in there, obviously, but he's still just like, you punk, He's like, I know they're not in there, but you think they are. You think you're selling them out. And then that way, like you said, he opens the door, he realizes they're not there. He realizes he's sacrificing his hooch.
Mm-hmm.
And,
he gets
pissed. And then Jesus gets that look on his face where he's just like, you've done
that. Right. I am just really interested to see what's going to happen with Carol and Morgan when they find out what happened to Glenn and Abraham, because Carol just wants to be left alone. Carol
I'm curious what it's going to do to each of them.
So what is she going to do? What are they going to do when they find out that...
Oh, we're finally going to see the return of Badass Carol.
Yeah.
I love how Morgan said to that guy, he's like, Carol's little gimmick thing that she does has obviously worked on that guy. Because remember, the guy's like, oh, I'm sure you haven't seen that much combat. And Morgan's like, dude, she's probably the most capable fighter in this room.
Oh, yeah.
And then so he's kind of like, oh, okay, well. And I agree. Morgan's probably right in that case.
She saved everybody.
But I think we're going to see in Carol We Trust. I think we're going to see that Carol come back.
I would hope so. I would really hope so.
Because she was really close with Glenn. You got to figure, when we met Glenn and Karen back in season 1, they were together.
Carol.
They were... What did I say?
Karen.
Karen? Did I say Karen?
You really said Karen.
Carol and Glenn. When we met each of them, they were in that community, that small community outside of Atlanta where Shane and Lori and all them was back in the first season. Yeah, so Carol and Glenn, you know, they were together for a long time.
You know who else I wonder
Even
might
longer
be
than
able
Rick.
to actually get her back to who she was? Daryl. Her and Daryl were pretty close for a while.
Yeah. I'm curious to see like what's happened, because there's the whole Daryl Carol thing. A lot of fans want this romantic thing, but it doesn't seem like that's exactly what they were like playing in the show. They didn't. I almost saw more like a motherly kind of thing to it.
I kind of saw that too, because it's well. Then again, you got to think about this day and age. Flirting, it like common courtesy and just being nice and having chemistry with a person is considered flirting in this day and age. Like, it's so easily portrayed
honestly,
as
I'm still don't even know what flirting is. You know, people will say, "Oh, you're flirting with this person or that person," or "You were flirting." I'm like,
well,
what?
Oh yeah, and like I mean, look at the dynamics though. Because remember when there was the chemistry between Beth and Daryl, when it was just them two.
Yeah, there was like a weird little.
And
I know. You know what's funny? Norman Reedus is a lot older than he looks.
yeah, that's true. I just could not believe Negan shaved his beard. Go against the grain, kid. It's like, holy shit, you got a
Rick's
baby
bathroom.
face.
In Rick's bathroom with probably Rick's razor, you'd have to imagine.
Oh, probably.
And did you notice they didn't really pay a lot of attention to it, but the way the shot was composed, when he set the razor down, it was like a close-up of the razor, but you could see Carl's face behind it, like, looking at it, you know? Like, it was another test. Negan said it right by him. Like, come at me, you know? Like, kind of that same thing.
Yeah. And Carl knows he has to wait for everybody to be on the same team. They know they have to take out his men before they can take him out.
I don't know if Carl's really realized. Maybe Carl has realized that now, but...
I think
he
he's
did
gonna
take out.
realize it once they
give
all
him
went
credit.
to-
He did take out a couple of Negan's men.
Yeah, I love that Negan was so baffled by him. He didn't know what to do. He was just like, "Oh wait, you're not scared of shit."
See, this is what's scary though. If Carl can survive like up into like full-grown adulthood, like say 30s, think of how savage he would be to be in the apocalypse for that long.
That's all he knows.
Exactly, you know, and that's all he knows, and someone with that kind of experience and still only be like 30 years old, like still in your prime, but to have that much experience because he started at such a young age, he could be a freaking monster.
You know what we haven't mentioned yet? The creepy boots.
Yeah, this
With
when Aaron and Rick they looted the what is it called again?
The boathouse.
Boathouse. Houseboat. Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like is how Aaron, that's his name, right? Aaron?
Aaron, yeah.
I don't like how he left the note in with all the boxes where the Savior saw it.
And they took it, yeah, that they would leave that.
Yeah, it's like, why would you take that? I mean, of all things, just leave it there.
Yeah. I mean, of course, when you're there, you're not thinking about it. You just read it and just set it down, you know? It's like, I mean, that can be an honest mistake. It got him to get his ass kicked, but...
Yeah, and that was rough.
He's like, heart's still beating though, right?
Yeah.
Well, Spencer's ain't.
Nope, it ain't. My mom was a leader. I can take over this. No, you can't.
I knew when he was doing that, I knew Negan wasn't going to like that. Because Negan being the kind of leader that he is, he would not like the thought of anybody doing that.
Sneaking up and
it's performing a coup. You know, when you hear about a coup of like someone trying to use a subterfuge, you know, to take out a leader and stuff.
It's like real life politics where they use money to get by. That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And Negan's like, nope, you ain't got the balls to do it yourself. I ain't gonna put you in charge.
You got no guts. Yeah, he can see that he's someone that Was obviously sheltered for a long time in that community too.
Oh yeah, definite brown noser.
Yeah, and he knew it's just no one that he cared to work with. He's just yeah.
I loved Carlo, and he stood up to Negan and was like, "You should throw me out that window before I'll kill you."
No, he said you should throw yourself out the window, save me the trouble of killing you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He was telling him to throw Negan to jump out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's.
I still just love the fact that Rosita, she wasn't going to shoot him just then. She was going to wait. She was going to wait. She contemplated it and hesitated. And then when she saw it happen, she just did it out of instinct. She was
too emotional.
But of course it ends up hitting Lucille.
Yeah.
The bullet hits Lucille. And he's like, Christ fucking shit, you shot Lucille. And it was like, about that. Yeah,
I knew she was going to do it, but...
I loved her strength when she lifted her face into the knife, like, I ain't afraid if you do so.
Yeah, that woman savior, had her on the ground with a knife to her face. And, and then, of course, Negan saying, like, oh, you just messed up Lucille's, pretty appearance, so we're gonna do the same to you. She's like, go ahead, lifted her face up into the knife and, like, made it cut her face.
She's like, oh, you're gonna do it? Sweet, okay, let's go for it. Like reverse psychology.
Yeah. For a minute there, and you know how Negan was like, oh, hell, you pick someone, I thought she was gonna shoot Tara. I thought it was gonna be Tara.
I thought she was just gonna jab the knife in Rosita.
Or her, yeah. I was kind of thinking that, but then, like, remember she, like, looked around and then, shot Olivia. Yeah, poor Olivia's gone. But
I was starting to like Olivia, because the way she just smacks him and she's like...
Dude, I love the look on Negan's face after that slap. He's like...
You just made me, like, 10 times more attracted to you.
He's like, well, I'm going to be here for a while, Like, I thought you might like if I just... I'd bang your brains out for a little while.
Right, it was just... And I loved how she actually started to stand up for herself, How Tara's like, you should go, I'll take over. And Olivia's just like, no, I told Rick I'd take care.
I'd watch Judith, yeah.
I'd watch Judith, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I like that she did that. I like how she kept her word to Rick.
I'm so glad Rick's back. He's finally...
Yeah, he's got his beard back. Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna start seeing another savage ass Rick.
I hope so, because
he's got his python back. He's got his gun, his big revolver.
It was so heartbreaking though to see Negan break him down, show up at Alexandria, and see the video that.
Oh yeah.
She made.
When they first showed up to Alexandria.
And the way Negan says himself, that's you? I wouldn't have fucked with that dude.
Yeah, and I would not mess with that guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, right before they got to Alexandria, it was bad for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was when they were like eating dogs and stuff too, remember? They were starving and they had just dealt with Gareth and the termites and the people from Terminus. And
the Terminus people, yeah. And then they were going, and then that's when they had just met the priest, Gabriel.
Yeah,
they were going through shit with him. They had lost Bob because of the other cannabis people. I still love Bob's one of his last lines. I'm tainted meat. Stupid.
That was the termites. That was Gareth and stuff, the cannibals, yeah.
So, dealing with the cannibals, of course he was starting to lose his fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a rough road leading up to Alexandria, and yeah, I know Rick's beard was so.
And the
burly.
first time, the first time that what's his name, the one with Carol.
The one with Carol right now.
Yeah.
Morgan,
yeah, and the first time Morgan saw God,
Rick.
It's
after
been a very long day.
The first time he saw Rick at Alexandria, when he showed up to Alexandria.
Yeah.
And it was his first time seeing Rick since season 4.
and he had to just kill her husband.
Put him down because he had just died.
Yeah.
And so it was to prevent him from turning.
And wasn't it somebody that was going to try and shoot Rick?
Yeah, he accidentally got, like, cut or something, wasn't it? Was it the sword, or?
No, I don't remember exactly, but I just remember seeing that Morgan walked in right as Rick had to kill him. Because he had gotten bit by something, or someone left the gate open.
Right.
And things had gotten in, something like that. But it's so crazy because the first time Rick and Morgan see each other, you know, and then the second time and then the third time, they've both gone from polar opposites, and each time they bump into each other, they're the opposite of what they were compared to the last time we saw each other.
Yeah, like we were really saying with Carol, like, I really can't wait until she comes back to the Carol that we know and love, you know, because, like, right now it's just like, you know, she's trying to run away from who she's become, for starters. She's tired of killing, like, people.
And that's all she wanted to do was to get away.
Yeah.
She was trying to get away from the apocalypse itself, and she realized she couldn't, and then King Ezekiel gave her the best option. You can go without going.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously she's content there if people would just stop coming to the house, you know?
I really liked how Morgan was like, I didn't mean for you to see me.
Yeah, see, and I think Morgan's kind of getting tired, you know, of the state of mind that she's in, because when he was leaving, you know, she's like, even if you run into somebody that we know, you know, just tell them I'm gone, don't tell them where I am, you know, and he's like, oh, you know, I didn't even want you to see me, you know, he's like, don't.
Yeah, he's like, you know, whatever.
He's like, just whatever. Yeah, exactly. But it's going to be interesting to see, though, when, obviously, from the preview that we see, it obviously looks like, well, at the end of this episode, Jesus even said, I think it's time that you guys meet King Ezekiel.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, Rick and our group is going to be going to the kingdom. So, obviously, they're going to see Morgan, because Morgan is actually staying within the kingdom.
Yeah.
From what I understand, Carol's like just right on the outskirts.
And I wonder if Carol's going to come across them on the way in.
Exactly. If they're going to see her. Since she's kind of on the outskirts from what I mean, that's how I've been interpreting it. I think she's just right outside.
I think she is right outside, because if you remember when they found the kingdom, there was that house. And they weren't too far from it.
So remember there was the lady in the house. Yeah, so yeah, she did pass that house on the way in. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I forgot about that.
That house is just like right on the outskirts of the kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what King Ezekiel realized, and is like, or you can go without going. You can go here, be safe, be left alone. You won't have to keep running into more danger.
Okay, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that came to Morgan and Carol, wanting to plan the strike on the Saviors. It's going to be interesting to see if he doesn't do anything stupid before Rick and the group gets there. Because obviously he's in the state of mind that we want right now, you know, because he wants to strike. But remember that little clip? He went into that little trailer, remember, that was hidden behind that sign, and he went in there, and there was like, he picked up a bottle. It was like a clear bottle, like, it kind of reminded me of like moonshine and shit. You know what I mean? It looked like those old moonshine bottles, and it was clear.
Like he's gonna light something on fire.
Yeah, and he looked at it and he threw it and just started crying. So So I don't know what that trailer is. If that trailer is his, or I didn't get that.
I would think that it's his little own getaway. And I would just hope that he ends up on the same page.
I hope he doesn't do something stupid and cause something. I can see him being one of those people that will, too.
And with Negan's, you want to be the first to attack, but you don't want to be the first to attack alone. You need to have that planned.
I think they... Okay, if our group would have gotten in this state of mind sooner, it's possible they would have had Negan right where they wanted him, because Negan was in Alexandria with not that many saviors with him, right?
Because
and he was in Rick's house. But that's the thing. He wouldn't have been there if Carl wouldn't have went, right? So it's like a two-edged sword, like, if Carl wouldn't have done it, then Negan probably wouldn't have been there in that moment. But yeah, you have to think that would have been a good moment for them to get Negan, because he was literally in Rick's house.
True, but
with not a lot of protection.
They've been so scattered with everything that's happened, and it's been so traumatizing that they needed to find their own way to cope, to realize, to have that reality sink in of what is the new reality. And now that they're all on the same page, that mid-season finale seriously just restored all of my faith into The Walking Dead. Because those first 2, 3, 4 episodes, I was like, oh my god, what am I watching? I cannot bear this. My heart is in my stomach right now.
That's literally what I was just thinking right now, is what I was going to say is, most seasons, the way it normally goes is, like throughout the season, it's pretty savage, but then, like, the mid-season finale is normally, like, crazy, and it normally ends really bad and leaves with a big, cliffhanger and all that, But this season has been so dark and depressing and just a mind screwer, So for the first 8 episodes, it's been like that. But this one, the mid-season, actually like ended on a good note. Like remember at the end, when they got reunited and Daryl and Rick finally met. Rick really finally got his gun back. And I even said, remember, I was like, something's going to happen, nothing stays good in The Walking Dead for long.
I really figured that it was going to be Jesus that slipped him the note. Because if you listened to the footsteps as they walked away, if it was the girls, you would have heard the heels. But you heard
I figured it was Jesus that time. And I think, remember how Daryl didn't leave right away?
He waited.
Yeah.
Because he thought it was going to be another trap.
Exactly. That's what I think it was. Because he was like looking at the note, like shaking, like you could tell he was thinking. It was, and then he just went for it. One thing, that shot in that room where he, ate some peanut butter and changed clothes and stuff, that thing he looked at, that statue, remember? Mm-hmm. I don't know what they were trying to say with that shot. Because, Walking Dead, they also tell a lot of stuff visually with no words. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So they were trying to tell us something.
Well, you remember the Boondock Saints Easter egg in one of the old episodes?
Yeah, there was a Boondocks poster in the house.
Yeah. We all know what you did before the apocalypse.
I read somewhere Norman actually had the input. He wanted that in that episode, and they did it for him.
But yeah, about that, I don't know what it was.
It was like a building. It looked like a building.
It looked like a little figurine knick-knack castle thing.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what the significance of it was.
I mean, it kind of reminded me of what the Terminus building kind of looked like, but that's not going to be a statue of.
I don't know.
What else could it be?
I
don't know. It's. Yeah. I wonder if it's something that maybe we'll find out. In the second half. Speaking of which, finding out in the second half, Heath, the black dude that Tara was with, remember?
Oh yeah, where'd he go?
Wherever the hell he's at. He still hasn't made it back to Alexandria.
That's what I actually wondered when I saw the camper of what's his name that talked to Carol and Morgan. And when we went to the camper, I was thinking, Heath had that same kind of camper.
No, Heath was like a motorhome. Like an actual full-size motorhome is what Tara and Heath was in. I
do wonder where he's at, though. And now we know.
And that thing he left behind, though, that little card that said, what was it, PPP? It was 3 Ps on it?
Yeah. Well, and now we know that there's a whole other one over there that's all women.
Oh, women, the Riverside community.
Yeah.
And they're heavily armed.
Yes.
We are going to be seeing more of them.
I bet we will, because now that everybody's together, Tara was there at the hillside, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was with him at the end, at that reunion. Tara was there, yeah.
So when they start brainstorming, that's when Tara's going to be like, I know where we can get some weapons.
Okay, see, this is going to be interesting, though. I can also see her not... Well, that's true, because
she's
now
not going to do it right away. She won't.
Exactly, but you make a good point, though, because now that they're in this fight mode, and they're like, you know, we need to get stocked up, armed, she might finally see, I mean, because she saw Spencer get gutted, and that's her first time seeing what they're capable of, right? Because up to this point, she's only heard. So, maybe that's going to switch her to a little more to tell our group about the Riverside community. But also, what if the Riverside community comes into the picture because they're looking for Tara? You know what I mean? Because how she got away. They could be trying to find her.
But why would they be trying to find her?
Because they want to kill her out of a protection thing. Remember? They were so determined to take her out as a self-protection thing.
That's true.
So maybe they still seek her out just to get rid of her, just so that she can't, you know what I mean? I don't know, like...
It's interesting. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. But we have until February. So.
It's normally the beginning of February, right?
Yeah.
I didn't hear what date, but from what I remember, a lot of the premieres are normally at the beginning of February.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what time of February.
I think it's normally the beginning. It's normally like within the first 2 weeks.
I love The Walking Dead, and I'm so glad you got me caught up on it. Because, I mean, I remember back in seasons where...
what season did we start in? Because you had seen season 1?
1 and 2.
Part of 2 or all of 2?
Part of 2. Because I had only seen part of 2, and then it was too depressing to watch, and I didn't have control of the remote.
Because you saw Shane die, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't see Shane die until you.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because remember, I had saw an old rerun clip of the governor without an eye, and I'm like, wow, what is going on in this show? I've missed so much. We meet, we hook up, you know, we've been together ever since, but you get me all caught up, and the first time I saw the governor in sequence, he had both eyes. So the whole time, I'm like, who gets his eye? Who gets his eye? Oh, God, I hope this person gets his eye.
And that went on for 2 seasons, because he didn't even lose it till his second season in the show.
Yeah, and at every single episode, I'd be like, oh my God, take his eye. Is this when he loses his eye? And it was just like that the whole entire time. So, I mean, like, I created the spoiler myself because I had watched an old rerun, but at the same time, I actually still like the suspense because it's like, wait a minute, who did it? I know
how does it lead to that point? Yeah.
And that's one thing I love about Walking Dead is even though something might be spoiled, it's like, who? How?
Yeah, or how does it get to that point? Or, I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of stuff that you can see. It's like, yeah. Yeah, because the farm fell in season 2. At the beginning of season 3 is when they found the prison. The only real big, like, time jump we've ever seen was from season 2 to 3. They had been living in the woods for the winter. Like, 9 months had gone by.
That's true.
Because remember when season 3 started, all of a sudden Lori was like, blue, like ready to pop.
What's interesting is The Walking Dead, every season is always in the summer. It's like,
well,
they film in the winter?
This is what's weird though. They film it in the summer. I mean, we all know they film it in the dead heat of summer down in Georgia, in Atlanta. We've only seen a little bit of snow back in season 2 to 3, and it was very rare. It was just kind of in flashback scenes from when they were living in the woods in the winter, but it's just like the visual style and the oh God, what are they called? The like the clothing style of the show. I mean, everyone wears kind of like the same style of stuff, like the coats and layers. I mean,
that's true. They are always
constantly,
wearing coats.
Yeah,
and
it constantly looks like it's like fall.
Yeah.
Like cold fall area time,
That's true. But then again, there's so many questions with the apocalypse. I mean, like, how do they change clothes? Where do they get their tampons? Things like that,
Right. Well, remember back in season 2 when they're at the farm, Glenn had still a pregnancy test for Lori.
Which sparked him and Maggie.
Exactly. Best thing that ever happened to Glenn was going on that pregnancy run.
You'll call me by my name. Maggie Ree.
Maggie Ree, yeah, Glenn Ree.
Hey, dumbass, down in the tank.
Yeah,
you.
That's that. Oh no, I was gonna say that's actually the first person Rick even ran into, but no, Morgan was. Morgan was the first person.
Yeah, but that's still part of the first episode. It's the hook at the end of the first episode, because then it ends, and then it's the second. It goes into the second episode. Like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
See, what's interesting, I wonder where Morgan originated. Morgan is the first person that Rick runs into.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in his neighborhood, because if you remember right, Rick obviously went home first and found the house abandoned, and he found, well, actually, Morgan's son found Rick.
But yeah.
But yeah, they ran into each other kind of in his neighborhood. I don't think Morgan lived in his neighborhood. I think maybe he was just kind of crashing.
It was a few neighborhoods over. Not quite down the block or around the corner, but...
Yeah,
like the distance from my mom's to our place, you know?
That's true. But what's weird, though, because then remember back in the Clear episode, in season 4, when Morgan, was gone, remember Carl walks up to that map that Morgan had drew
to find his house.
Yeah, and remember Rick was like, "What do you see?" And Carl's like, "Our house." Because Morgan had drew a map. But I think you're right, though, because I think now that I'm trying to picture it in my head, like the way that map was, I think it was like, because remember it was even wrote out, said like Rick's house, and then where he was up here. It was like a few blocks away, I think, but.
Yeah, it wasn't like a few streets down or a couple houses down type of neighborhood close by. It was a few blocks.
Yeah, and so, this is, we're halfway through season 7 now, and I think time frame wise, what are we, like 4 years into the apocalypse? What are they at, like 3?
I would think at least 5, because of how much Carl has grown. And the fact that he's been shot twice and still isn't dead, almost lost an arm, and is still fighting like a troop.
And an eye. He has lost an eye.
That's true. I mean, he can be a little bit of a dumbass sometimes, but he's still a kid. He's becoming an adult in the apocalypse.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
this is his first gen.
Wait till he hits like his prime, like late 20s, like 30s, like.
So I mean, yeah, he can still be a dumbass and not be the brightest, like.
Because he's got those hormones, that young kid stuff, you know. Like.
Oh, it's like I bet you picked that gun because you thought it looked cool.
Who was it? Was it Negan that said that too? Yeah. Well, yeah, because the Saviors engraved that little logo, the little bat on all their guns. That's how they were able to tell that they were Savior weapons. But yeah, it's yeah. I knew we were going to lose someone from the group in this episode. I just had a feeling. I definitely feel bad for Eugene. I don't know.
I'm kind of glad he stood up, though, because they were going to kill another person, and Eugene knew that, and Rosita knew that, but...
Yeah, I forgot about that. Tara tried taking credit for it, and thank God Eugene was like, no, it was me. And to prove it was him, he explained to him how he did it in his unique Eugene way, and he, And then Negan just immediately, he's like, shut up, I don't care, I don't want to hear it, and so, Negan obviously could see how smart he is and all that, so, I don't know, he's definitely going to rough him up. But
mentally.
Oh, physically, too. He's getting mentally, physically, he might even burn his face.
I don't think he would.
I don't think so, because we've already seen someone get his face burnt.
And
Dwight's already got his
why
face
they
burnt.
get their face burnt is because they try to sleep with the wives again.
Well, we don't know if that's what Dwight did, though, because when we have heard about the kind of backstory with Dwight is that Negan did it to punish Dwight for escaping, for trying to leave, because then remember, Dwight and his wife came back. So, I don't know. I think he pretty much, it's just a form of punishment he does and that he reuses sometimes, I just don't think that he would do it to Eugene or that we're going to see it done again. But Daryl... God bless his heart. I think Negan almost did break him. Daryl was getting close to that point. But and Daryl obviously is much more strong-minded than Eugene. So Eugene is going to be in for a hell of a trip
but
at
that's the thing
Sanctuary.
is Negan already sees that Eugene's already broken. He doesn't have to break him down. He knows Eugene will listen.
Yeah, and that's probably another reason that feeds into why he takes him instead of just bashing his head in. When he turned around and was like, like, Lucille, give me strength, I thought he was going to, I was just ready for him to turn around and...
That's what I was ready for too.
I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
Lucille.
he's gonna cave that mullet in so hard,
Oh, I know, huh?
But no, thank God Eugene is still alive for now, but... I mean, because I'm sure, obviously, Eugene can see that. I mean, this dude is still alive after all this time. Like, there's got to be a reason. He's obviously smart.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason, and I think it's, he knows that there's a way that he survived so far.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, Negan finds that he's more valuable, alive, and tamed, because of what he can make.
Yeah.
And how smart he is. And what he can do.
Yeah, because you need brains like that in the apocalypse.
Because you noticed for a while, before he even actually admitted that I was lying, I didn't know the truth, I don't know how to cure the disease, when they were going on their mission.
Mm-hmm.
And people started asking him questions. At first, he sounded legit. He sounded exactly knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, well, because he is smart, though. Yeah, because he is smart.
And then you slowly start to see that he really didn't have any idea what he was talking about, but he pulled it off so well for so long.
But I liked when we saw the backstory, though, of when Eugene and Abraham met.
Oh, me too.
I think the lie just got out of hand. I think he made up that lie right on the fly, because remember, he saw Abraham with his dead family by him, gun in his mouth, ready to kill himself, right? And Eugene ran up and he's like, no, like, he could see he was a military man, he had dog tags, and he gave him a purpose, I think Eugene just came up with that, real quick on the fly as a thing to save Abraham more than anything, like, to give him something to do, just be like, wait, I have a cure, like don't kill yourself, I can help, kind of thing. And then I think it just got out of hand, from there, like...
Well, yeah, because Abraham almost killed him when he found out he was lying.
Oh my God, I thought it did kill him.
I thought it did.
I mean, he punched him so damn hard. He hit him. He hit the fire truck. And then that sound when he face planted into the street sounded so gross. Like, it sounded like his freaking face caved in.
You noticed after Abraham realized that he might be dead, and he wasn't dead, Abraham forgave him pretty quick, because he was like, it took some time, but I understood why you did what you did. Yeah. And you saved my life in doing so.
See, and this is one thing, obviously they have paid attention to it by filming it. Because Eugene's been crying since the first episode, since Abraham's died. And obviously it's going to hit him harder than anyone. It's obviously hit Rosita and Sasha pretty hard as well.
I'm glad they've made an acknowledgement of, hey, it's okay.
Yeah, like that little nod they did to each other. Yeah. They can find a bond in that, They both cared for the same man, like...
I just find the irony in the fact that Rosita made Abraham a necklace out of a bullet that was then given to Sasha from Jesus.
Right.
So it's kind of like, about that.
Yeah. Oh, Abraham. Definitely gonna miss his one-liners and his quotes and his little sayings and stuff.
Yes, he is. Indeed, and there's just still going to be so much more to talk about on Talking Decay with the Walking Dead podcast that we do. And it's going to go on a hiatus, but we may have our top 5 things or... Well,
no, even though the show is going... it is at its mid-season break. We are still going to be doing the Talking Dead podcast every Monday. So, so we will be posting another episode next Monday to the YouTube channel. You can follow the show at Spreaker.com/user/SportsNerdWeb. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerdPark48. You can follow me on Instagram at Solgr Only. You can follow her on Instagram at Fusha Only.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this week. So, have a good week, and we will see you next week. And don't forget our podcast on Sundays, too. Cheers.